My name is Kweku Kwatingeboa. I am Programs Coordinator for Sickle Cell Condition Advocates.
Good morning. I am Dr. Kunyadukaji Lawrence, a local pharmacist at Make Pharmacy.
What we are doing is preventing sickle cell at the point where couples come together. We are hoping that we would educate enough youth so that we are able to reduce the numbers. We think that if they know their status before they come together, they would select people who don't carry the gene.
I'm here to discuss something concerning sickle cell disease.
It is when your cells comes into a sickle, and so when there's blood flow in your body, at a point the sickle blocks access of blood to a certain part of your body. And you know, when blood doesn't go to that part of your body, it means that oxygen is not going there, and then that part of your body calls you out that, oh, I'm not getting oxygen, and that is excruciating pain. It will tell you that, oh, I'm not getting oxygen, I'm not getting oxygen. As long as oxygen is denied to that part of your body, that place begins to die.
It's just an inherited disorder characterized by the possession of hemoglobin S. We have a lot of hemoglobins.
Sickle cell is passed on from the parents to the child, and so there's the different gene type.
We have hemoglobin A. Hemoglobin is simply the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. Okay, so you have hemoglobin A, which is the normal one. You have hemoglobin S, which is the sickled one. But then you have hemoglobin C. Even you have hemoglobin A2.
And there's also the beta thalassemia, which is quite rare.
So we have a lot of hemoglobin, but then the normal one is the hemoglobin A. The others are abnormal.
Over 75% of all of us are AA, and there's a 23% who are AS. However, it seems that the AS come together and they are able to bring out an SS. Now, both parents has one gene A, one gene S, or one gene A, one gene A.
That's it. So we tend that those with the hemoglobin SS, probably S from the mother, S from the daddy, we call them the homozygous form. Those are those people having the sickle cell disease. They normally suffer a lot of symptoms and the signs as well. So then they have a lot of complications. But then the others, one can inherit the normal gene from a mommy or a daddy, and then one abnormal gene from the other. So then we call that sickle cell trait. They don't really suffer the profound signs and symptoms of the sickle cell disease.
What we are asking is that if there's an S in your gene type, you try and find somebody who is AA and then get married to the person. It's difficult when you would find out when you are going to get married. So our NGO is targeting basically the youth and the people in senior high school, people in uni who are learning, and then we go do advocacy, let them know. So when they are falling in love, it's at the back of their minds, and then they let the relationship go if it won't work or will produce a sickle cell child. We have been working with this for over 45 years. I myself, I am sickle cell, so we have been pushing this agenda so people don't fall into the predicament I find myself.
Our hemoglobin A, the shape is bioconcave. Their lifespan is 90 to 120 days. And how it is, it can just move through the vessels, the microvessels, easily to and fro. Or the sickled, it's just the shape is sickled one. And it tends to stack on each other. When it stacks, it becomes very, 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 circulation is impaired. That's exactly what happens. And the short half-life of the red blood cells.
I was told that I won't survive until 18. And then they pushed it to 30. Now I am over 40. I'm hoping to catch 92. I am working at it. But I'm also going around telling people that don't get married to somebody who would give you a child that has sickle cell, because the child itself will suffer too many things. 3 years ago, I suffered a stroke. It was the biggest thing in my life, I was in bed for about a week and a half. But I told God that I've done this work for over 20 years. And if He wants me to go out, He should pull me out. If He's not going to let me go out, He should take me out of this hospital bed. And He did. And so I'm still here.
Sickle cell disease is normally going to present with the destruction of the red blood cells. That's one. There is impaired circulation. That's two. Third one, there is stasis of the RBCs, the red blood cells. And lastly, it has to do with an inflammatory process that is going to be going on.
I suffered it somewhere in my late 30s, but there are kids as early as 5 years, as early as 4 years, as early as 3 years who would suffer this, and it would change their way of life. It would make education impossible. It will make your life's work impossible.
Fatigue, anemia, pallor, discoloration of the sclera as a result of the rapid breakdown of the red blood cells. They also suffer from hemolytic anemia. The red blood cells are being broken down. When you lose a lot of blood, meaning you are losing a lot of hemoglobin, so the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is low. As such, it can predispose you to a lot of stress.
I mean, for the parents, the expenditure on a sickle cell child is not something you should even think about, because we go in and out of the hospital almost weekly or every month, and it will create a hole in the man's pockets. Stroke is just one of the big things, and stroke, if you ask any medical person, he'll tell you that if you have had one, when you have the next one, you are gone. It's a reality I live with. For the girls, I tell you, the man would always leave you with your child because he can have another with another woman. So I tell you that, seriously, don't marry somebody who is a carrier of the sickle cell gene if you are a carrier. Find what your status is and make sure that it guides your settling down decision. Make this decision so that you don't have to take your child in and out of the hospital every time.
One, we have acute chest syndrome. That's normally precipitated by an infection. Two, we have the vaso-occlusive crisis, when the microvessels are occluded by these sickle cell red blood cells. We also have prapism. Prapism occurs when there is a stasis of blood in the penis. So the vessels in the penis, blood can flow through, though, but sometimes the blood flows through, and then for it to come out, it can't, because there is stasis, and then there's occlusion in those tiny microvessels. So as such, blood flow out of the penis is impaired. It can't move forward, it can't move backwards. So the blood stays in the penis and it's erected, sometimes for hours, and it's very, 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 very painful.
So when it got blocked in my brain, it created the stroke. Now it gets blocked in your arm, it creates pain. That one won't give you too much problems, but it occurs rampantly, like daily, weekly, monthly. It doesn't have a schedule. It will give you that, oh, it will come at this time. And so I would say for those living with sickle cell, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for us. Some of us won't shout about it. Some of us won't make noise about it. But God has been good to me that even with the pain, I'm able to do the things I have to do. We are asking that parents should look after their sickle cell children. It is true that they did not know when they were coming together. We have to educate those getting into relationships to know that their status is AA, their status is AS, their status is AC. And so before they are getting into a relationship, now our organization is hoping to educate the youth so that before they come together, they find out and know. Now, some of them at the point when they find out are in love to the extent that they don't want to let their love go. But trust me, when your offspring, your child, gets sick week in, week out, the love disappears. The reality of having to dole out the money for the doctors, dole out the money for the pharmacists, dole out the money for care, takes a toll on the relationship. We are targeting is to educate the youth so they know their status, as in their gene type, so that when they are getting married, at the point where they are falling in love, they would find out the gene type that they carry and the gene type of their partner. So when they come together as a couple, it will be impossible to produce sickle cell kids. The child would have problems. In the early 80s, we discovered penicillin was a good antibiotic that would help us fight some of the problems that comes with our complications. And so from the 90s up until now, managing it is a bit better than it was when earlier in my life, because I started in the 70s, so you can imagine I was in and out of the hospital so many times. So living with sickle cell, you find out that you don't like to eat too much. The most important thing in your eating would include your water. You see, every time you have a blockade in your vein, you go to the hospital and then they'll put water in you. It's because now your blood has become too thick, and then they are mixing it up so that it unblocks where it has clogged. And so I would ask that most of us living with sickle cell should be able to do at least 5, 6, 7 liters of water a day. And you should space it out. Drink some in the morning, drink some in the afternoon, drink some in the evening, so that we are sure that we are well hydrated. We are in a place where our blood is not too thick. You can use your urine as a test case, where you look at how yellowish it looks and then keep drinking so it becomes lighter. We ask that parents with kids also look at their urine when they go and urinate and see where their blood is at that point in time when they were urinating. When you drink a lot of water, everything that's happening inside comes down. When you're not sickle cell, your cells die every 6 weeks. But for us, sickle cell, our cells die every 2 weeks. So there's a lot of debris in the blood, and a lot of water brings it out. We are asking that people who have siblings or friends or children with sickle cell should use water as the baseline. They should feed well, they should drink a lot of water. And you know there are some things you can't do. You can't play too much sports. You can't do too much excessive exercising. Just keep a gentle pace so that you are here for a long time. We intend to be here for a long time. So that will really be my advice for people who want to live long with this condition. It's difficult to live, but we want to be here.
Secondly, get a lot of fruits. Fruits are rich in antioxidants and they help the body. Better still, if we can't get money to buy fruits, just fruits, watermelon or whatever, you can also get some of these. We have drugs with a lot of antioxidants. We have Unison, we have Neonate, even the Coa. We have a lot of drugs with antioxidants. So just build your antioxidant system. Because there's a lot of oxidative stress coming in from the breakdown of this the red blood cells almost every 10 to 20 days, always. So they overwhelm the body. So there's always a mismatch between the antioxidant system in the body is going to be less, it's going to be overwhelmed. So you have to balance it so that you always feel fine. Even these people, sometimes they're a bit introverts. So when you talk to them, some are very lively, but they are scared of even talking to someone. And for the stigmatization, this person is a sickle cell patient. This person is that. These things are things that should stop. Okay, they should stop. It's not nice. They are all parts of us. We are a big family. God created all of us. It's not unfortunate that is happening, but such is life. So they should first recognize that this is how they are. And that's not the end of their lives. A lot can be done about that. They can stay healthy. They can give birth.
God has blessed me with a wonderful wife and 3 wonderful boys. Here at the Sakomono Estate Junction, we are next to the Total Filling Station. Our numbers are 024 666 0012. If you call, you can schedule to come in at any time in the day. Once you schedule it, we'll be here to attend to you. You can walk in, get tested, know your gene type, and then know your girlfriend's or your boyfriend's gene type, and use it to make the decision that would help you a great deal all through your life. You didn't know that you now know. Thank you very much.
Genetics over love. Okay, not love over genetics.